best parts of my high school career was my senior year, where my friends and I, we got together and we created this club, this organization called RAKE, Random Acts of Kindness, etc. Once a week, the goal was very simple. We would go out to our school, and the rules were very simple. Number one, you had to meet someone new, someone you didn't know. You had to learn their name, figure out who they are. Rule number two, very simple, you had to make their day better than when you found them. You had to give them a compliment, give them a word of encouragement, perform an act of kindness for them, give them a gift of some kind, something to make their day just a little bit better. I said, how the other part, my favorite part was doing random acts of kindness once a week with a group of friends. It always made me so happy, it always brightened my day. And normally people smile. Normally people smile when I start talking about random acts of kindness, and Helga instead gets very serious. She goes, Susan, that is so important. I said, well, yeah, it's a lot of fun, people love kindness. She goes, no, Houston, that's so important to me. This whole time I kind of only been half listening to her because I thought she was kind of annoying. So finally I turned and I actually looked at her. And Helga has this really pretty smile. Big bright eyes. And she's holding on to the airplane handle really tight. We're about to take off and you can tell she's so nervous. I said, Helga, are you okay? So she down her hand up at me, she goes, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't fly very much. I said, why is that? She goes, well, 3 years ago was the last time I was on an airplane. It wasn't my favorite time. I got a call from my dad's doctor. He lived in Arizona. I lived here in Seattle. I got a call from my dad's doctor. My dad, he was a little bit older, but he was pretty healthy, and so I was really confused. My dad's doctor called and said, Helga, where are you? Something happened to your dad. He's not doing very well. As soon as you can come down here with him. Susan, you can imagine, I ran home, I packed a bag, I sped to the airport, I bought a really expensive plane. And as I'm sitting there on the plane ready to take off, I was so distracted, I couldn't hear anything that anyone was saying about the oxygen mask and the seatbelt. And finally, the woman, the flight attendant, had to come up and tap me on the shoulder and tell me we're about to take off. I've been checking my phone relentlessly for new notifications, and just as I'm about to turn my phone on the airplane mode, I get a phone call from my dad's doctor. I didn't even need to pick it up to know what he's going to say. I answered the call and he says, Helga, I don't know where you are, but I'm really sorry. We did everything we could, but your dad didn't make it. She goes, Houston, I had 3 hours on an airplane with strangers. After just getting the worst news of my life, I had to sit there for 3 hours, and I sat there in silence. I didn't know what else to do. I get off the plane in Phoenix, and I walk, and I sit down at the nearest wall. I'm not ready to go see my dad, and I'm not ready to go face him. So I sit down at a wall, and I start to cry. Helga has a good sense of humor. She goes, Susan, I'm not a pretty crier. I'm not a quiet crier. I sound like Chewbacca's choking on something. So Susan, I sat down and I started to cry. Houston, you know why the whole idea of random acts of kindness, any kind of kindness, is so important? Houston, if I had to guess, I sat there for 2 hours crying on one of the hardest days of my life. If I had to guess, there's probably 3,000 people in the airport, walking to their planes, through the gates, walking in and out of stores. And I sat there for 2 hours, 3,000 people. And you know what's crazy? Not a single person, not one, walked up to me, got down on my level and said, hey, are you okay? No one was. Not a single person walked over and said, hey, can I get you a bottle of water? Are you all right? I said, hey. I don't know why. Maybe they were scared. Maybe they were scared of what people would think about them if they sat down next to a stranger crying. Maybe they were scared, or maybe they were worried that they had their own problems and they couldn't possibly help me with mine. Maybe they thought that someone else would help. Maybe that's what they figured. As they walked by, they thought to themselves, I'm sure someone else will stop. But Houston, everyone must have thought that because nobody did. I sat there for 2 hours and you have no idea. You have no idea how much a small act of kindness would have meant to me that day. You know why what you're talking about is so important? It's because kindness isn't normal. Kindness is not normal. It's the exception to the norm. I think about Helga all the time. And I get to travel all over the country. I'm in airports almost every day. I'm in a new school almost every day. And I'm reminded, sometimes the people that come up to me and share stories or email me stories, I'm reminded almost every day that kindness isn't normal. We have to have assemblies about kindness. We have to have posters about kindness. not the norm. You know, the reason I tell you the Lisa story isn't because it's the last time of my life where I was mean to someone. It's not the only time in my life where fear has made me do a dumb thing. The reason I tell you the Lisa story is because it's so simple. Lisa didn't need me to be a hero. Lisa did not need me to be exceptional. She just needed simply for kindness to be my default setting. But it's not. My default setting is fear. I'm scared. Over the course of my life, different things have happened that have caused me to be this scared. But the good news is this: fear is just a feeling. And even though we can't control the way that we feel, we can control the way that we act. We can control the way that we treat each other. Even when we're scared, we can still be kind. Even when we're uncomfortable, we can still respect each other. Even if it's hard, we can forgive each other. Even if it's awkward, we can still give someone a compliment. I wish I had known how much Lisa needed an act of kindness that day. 4 years after 6th grade, I was a sophomore in high school, and I found out I was sitting next to Kristen, the girl who got the rose, and we found this pile of pictures. In the pictures was our official class photo, 4, 5, 6 classes. In the photo, Lisa, pink tights, pink jacket, hair not brushed, not smiling. I find the picture